Are you ready for this Cineverm?
Everything is awesome.
Everything's not awesome.
Welcome to Cineverm.
Ew.
This week we watched the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
That's what it's called?
Yep.
Oh.
This is the spoilers. If you haven't seen the Lego Movie, please listen to our review. This movie has a lot of twists, so you need to go in without knowing anything.
Oh, yes. That was actually a for real twist for me.
Which part?
When Rex turned out to be Emmett.
Oh, I knew from the
future.
very beginning.
Shut up.
Yeah.
How did you know?
Because I was like, why would this guy just randomly save Emmett?
Because he lives in between universes.
And then the reference to like, oh yeah, I used to admire you and stuff. And then he was like, well, don't let me get into my backstory.
No.
And then, the part that really clued me in was when the kid was like, it was in the middle of the movie. Mm-hmm. And the kid went upstairs and he was like, don't play with my toys. I'm doing some time travel story right now. No,
he didn't say time travel. Yeah, he said, I'm building some backstory.
No,
I'm following a plot line or something.
Yeah, a time travel plot line.
Oh.
So they said it in the middle of the movie.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Damn. For me, it was an actual twist. I felt the motions of it. I went, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he had wrinkles and beard stubble.
That was the funniest moment when Emmett wiped his face and his beard stubble, what is that called? Smeared?
Yeah, it's like permanent marker smeared on him.
Yeah. I realized why his face is so laughable now.
What?
When he does something dumb, they remove his eyebrows.
Oh, and it's just like 2 dots.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. The whole time I was like, why does he look more funny in some parts than other parts? They obviously don't change his body shape, so it's all in the face, right?
Yeah.
And then I was looking at, he doesn't have a nose, his mouth moves the same, and then I was looking at his eyes, and then from one scene to the other, it went from him doing some building stuff all intense and brooding, to the next he was doing some something distracted, and they removed his eyebrows. It's like, oh, there it is.
Wow.
That's the technique for him.
What was that? In the beginning of the movie, there was a part that you started laughing really loud at.
Which one?
I don't know. You were like, something happened. I can't remember. But then you started laughing, and then you like rolled in your seat. Oh. I don't know if it was the movie that made you laugh or you thought about something in real life. You don't remember?
I laughed at the part where, what is the girl's name?
Wild Style?
Wild Style was like, it's like they know our every move.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see him with the blinker. That always makes me laugh. Because, it's that previous to that, she was making the whole vehicle or whatever, and she was putting in actual useful things. And then he was like, oh, these super safety blinkers, these amazing pinstripes. And that's another part that made me laugh. Like, bro, you contributed nothing but style to this. It was awesome.
There was a part though. It was not. I think it was maybe before that. Maybe when it was the baby toys showed up.
The baby toys.
I think it was when Wild Style hit the big baby toy in the middle with the hammer, and then it started crying like immediately. Was that the?
No, I don't think so.
There was a part. You literally went like
don't
this.
Remember.
And you were like, and then you were like this, and then you started laughing again.
I laughed so many times. I think collectively I laughed more times during this movie than other movies that try to make you laugh. Like Bumblebee, for example.
Oh yeah, I did not laugh.
I did not. But this one I did laugh a lot of little times, which was awesome. They jam-packed this with a lot of visual gags.
Oh yeah. That's what I was kind of worried about, because we watched the Lego Batman movie, and that movie just felt like too much. And then the first Lego movie I really loved, and that one had to me, I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember when I watched it, it was like a perfect balance of dumb jokes, child humor, adult humor, and then visual gags. And it wasn't like joke a minute. And this movie, I feel like it was still not, for me, the first movie was still a lot funnier because each joke is a little deeper than what it was. Where this one's did have more of those like basic jokes that like the Lego Batman movie had that I didn't really like as much. Too many references, but it still had enough of the first movie's humor.
Okay.
Or what do you think?
I didn't really like the first movie.
Really?
As much as you did.
Oh.
I don't know, it didn't really glitter me up. But this one was a lot better to me.
For you? So you like this one more than the first one?
I would have to rewatch the first one too.
Okay, we'll watch it today.
Watch it today. I just remember the first one being really good. And for some reason, the first 5 minutes made my head hurt because the way they moved was weird. Oh, and then after that, I got used to it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I kind of remember from it.
Yeah, this one seemed way smoother than the first one.
Yeah.
I feel like they added some more frames in. And I kind of don't like that because I love how in the first one it looks super choppy when they move. Oh, yeah. And this one they looked way more smooth. Maybe it's just their like CGI got better and it just looks a lot better or something. But I still like the first ones look a little more.
How did you feel about the transition between the actual Lego world into the human world, where you kind of see it how it is, but it's blurry and I don't know. How'd you feel about that?
I thought that was really cool. In the first movie, that was like the plot twist was that it was an actual kid playing with his toys, and it was his dad's Legos, and his dad didn't want to let him play because he was making them games, but for him, Legos were serious.
Like a work project.
Yeah, and then it was about the dad learning to let his kid play with his stuff and to play with his kid too. And then this movie, and you can tell in the last movie, it ended with like, now you're gonna have to learn how to play with your sister. And then this whole movie is about the brother and the sister learning how to play and stuff.
Yeah.
So I assumed there would be more human stuff, but there was a lot of human stuff in this one.
Yeah.
All throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Where the other one was just like the last 5 minutes. You saw the real world and that was it. But it was shot really cool. I do like how they blurred it. It gave it a cool style. Because it would be so easy to like make it into like Toy Story, where they just freeze when they see humans. So I like this one's like this weird, the toys can see reality, but they see it through like this toy reality. So it's like a alternate, like you can see through your universe type thing.
And they're also so low that the camera's looking down from a very low angle. That's what I like too. Yeah,
and when they do the shots of the Lego pieces in the real world, they use like these macro lenses. So it's like super focused. You know those photographs of like flowers, and you can see like the little nectar bud or whatever, and it's like super zoomed in. It's like they use those kind of cameras to make the Lego pieces look huge, but you can still tell they're like that big.
This music though, I want to talk about how it went from everything is awesome to the other one, this song's gonna get stuck in your head. I like the bass of it.
Oh, it was like...
Yes. That was my favorite part. Even though the lyrics were ass, the actual beat of it made your body want to like...
Yeah.
Like Emmett was doing the worm and it fit.
I think that's the reference. Like Everything Is Awesome was just like a bubblegum song referencing like what kids used to listen to, which was like really glitzy poppy songs. And then nowadays it's just whatever has a dope bass track. And he even mentions it in the beginning. He's like, whoa, what's that dope bass track? And he doesn't even hear the lyrics and he's already like jamming to it. I think they purposely made the lyrics kind of dumb to showcase what's popular nowadays. Like, you don't even hear what they're saying. And that's the point, because then the song was saying how the song is evil and it's going to get stuck in your head, but no one was listening to the song. They're all like, yo, this sounds so awesome.
Yeah.
That was one big difference in this movie that I wasn't expecting, was how much music. It was like almost a musical.
Yeah, like they did the singing part with the queen.
Yeah, that was really cool. It reminded me of the Moana part with the shiny, and then he's like saying that he's all nice or whatever, and like, look at me and all this stuff. But then when he was doing his verses, he would try to kill them, and then when it went to the chorus, he'd be like all glitz and glamour. And she was doing the same thing. Her chorus, she was all nice. And then when she was singing the verses to the individual people, you were seeing her like evil side or whatever. And then it was really funny that at the end, they're like, oh no, she's actually not evil. It's like, wow, y'all are just really bad at communicating.
It's like, yeah, we are.
And it's funny
Aw.
because that represents the little sister. So like
Whenever she tries to do something nice,
it
the brother always skews it to where he thinks she's trying to sabotage him or something like that.
yeah. So that was really awesome. And then she was like unmischievous, unevilness. It was like you're just putting in front of everything.
Aw, yes.
And I like how her Lego piece was just a morphing piece. That was really creative. And how it was all like dancing and stuff. And then she had like legs and she was like in positions. And then like dancing. And then she was turning into like all kinds of slippery shapes and stuff. That was really awesome.
I think I like the morphing the best out of all of them. I've never seen any of them like morph like her.
Yeah.
So seeing her turn into really big or really wide or very small or very like sharp or shapely or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really, and it's all made out of little squares.
Yeah, she was just Lego pieces.
Yeah.
And I love how they wrapped it back to the beginning to where she was originally a heart. It was the heart that Emmett made. I thought that was really cool.
Like, you started this, my homies.
Yeah. So what was your favorite song?
My favorite song? My favorite song would have to be where the queen was bribing everyone. And she was showing, what is that guy? He was like, spaceship.
Oh, yeah.
I love his part because you just saw his eyes like get really wide or whatever, and then you saw all like 5 other people just like him and their eyes are all wide, and then the spaceships are going up. And then you see oh no, I also like, that's my favorite. And then the second favorite would be when Batman is trying to propose back to her after she sings to him and be like, no, I don't like boys like you. I like boys who have a red cape or whatever. She's basically saying Superman. And she's like all over Superman. And then Batman pulls up with, no, I have 6-pack abs and I'm super rich. Blah, blah, blah. I love it. I love how it changed from hers and she was all like sassy, and then it goes to him and it's all like dark and mysterious. But yeah, that's why I like it.
That song was really good too. Like all the stuff she was saying, she like knew every single thing about him that was making him jealous.
Yep. All these characters had like a little reflection of normally how kids are when they don't want to share.
Yeah, that is true. They all have those traits. Like Batman's very ego driven, but then when he gets jealous, he wants to share if it means he gets something cool out of it.
Yes, but down deep in their heart, he's like Emmett.
Yeah.
The brother's like Emmett. And the little girl, the first figurine that was sent to them, she was all harsh and like, I want to play with you, you know, and then, but the queen is really who she is deep down in her heart.
Yeah.
Like, she literally can't communicate, so things come out crazy.
Yeah. And she wants to have a glittery world, but then she builds her world to look more nasty because that's what the brother starts doing, so he can come, and then she hides the cute little houses.
Oh my god, I love Emmett's little house. How he was so excited about it. He even built a porch, and he had a little plaque thing, or was it a pillow? A little pillow thing that said A and E.
Yeah, Emmett and Wild Style.
E and W.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was my favorite. And then he made like the whole breakfast nook, lunch nook, dinner nook, and then the pool, and then you saw them go down and trampoline, and then climb up, and then they got toast and waffles. Oh, I would love a house with secret rooms like that.
And he had a kitty room.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was so scary. It was like Princess Kitty or something like that. When they opened the door and then the cat came up and it looked all angry.
Yeah, and it was a boy kitty.
It's a boy cat?
Yeah, because in the marriage ceremony, there's like, these are the females, and then it showed all the female bachelorettes, and then it showed all the male bachelors, and Kitty was in the male side. You don't remember?
Really?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
Yes.
that.
And
He's not a guy.
Well,
she's not a guy.
It is though. It is a woman who voices the cat, but it's a boy cat. Very feminine boy cat, like Princess.
It's like, Chelsea, we literally have a cat at home named Princess.
Yeah, that's
and he's a male. Touche.
But he acts just like a girl.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe
I was gonna ask you this question. Who was your favorite character in this movie? Because last movie you said it was the spaceship man.
Oh, I just love that scene.
Who was your favorite character? Or what was your favorite scene?
I think my favorite character is still Emmett. Still like his...
You like Emmett?
He's so dumb and funny. I liked Wild Style more in this one because she grew a lot, so that was really cool. And I also liked the evil queen, the evil princess, because she was really smart.
Oh yes. I like the plot twist of Wild Style was the singer to the original Everything Is Awesome song. That was another plot twist for me.
Oh yeah. I wish they would have showed like a little music video of her back in the day. I would have been like,
whoa.
Just like Emmett was like, It's like, no wonder he loves the song so much. And no wonder she hates the song so much. She probably toured for years singing the same exact song over and over again.
And it became a whole culture based song. Like, everyone
knew it. And that's so funny that she changed her name to Wild Style and then when Emmett first meets her in the first movie, he's like, are you a DJ? It was like, he knew she was musically inclined.
I need to watch that first movie again.
Yeah, I think the first movie was still directed better than this one. There was some really interesting scenes with like all the musical numbers were really dope how they directed them. But I don't know. I do need to rewatch the first movie because maybe I'm just holding it to a higher degree. But I really loved how the visuals were in the first one, a little more than the second one. There seemed to be more like cohesion in some parts in this movie. It felt like it would just skip to the next thing. So it didn't really feel like a smooth transition. Did you notice parts like that?
Yeah, like when it would go from Emmett's part of where he's going to their rescue. Yeah. And then to the actual group of kidnapped individuals. Like, it was like cut. And also, Emmett's was very dark, and then theirs was super bright, so it made it even more harsh. Yeah,
I felt like they really struggled to condense their story. I felt like they must have written a big script and had this big whole idea of the story, and then they were forced to dwindle it down.
What do you think about the ending? Do you think that's part of the whole big script, and then they cut some things down and they're like, well, this ending doesn't make any sense anymore. So what are we gonna do?
What, the ending where they're like all sad and stuff?
No, where it ended and then it didn't end, and then something happened and then it re-ended. And then they sang the song? Yeah. No, I think that was on purpose. I think it was a joke. Because, like, especially after, like, the Avengers, where it just everyone loses and then it ends, and then everyone's lost and sad and depressed, and it's like, this can't be the end. And then I think it's a reference to that, and it's also just like a lot of superhero movies, they end and then they have a part at the end to give you more hope or whatever. It's like, stay tuned for the next upcoming series. I don't know what is the word? Sequel. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. I like that part though. I like how it ended. I was like, oh shit, it's actually gonna end. And then I got excited. I was like, oh, hopefully they do a part 3. And then it just kept going. And then they sang the best song ever. Ooh. Everything Is Not Awesome. I'm depressed. The depression version. I think Jack would have laughed at that part because he's always joking around like
depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised they used that word.
Yeah. Like I've never heard exactly that word in a kid's movie. It's like depression is a funny thing. I've never heard that before.
I think it's really cool how they did that part. How all the characters were singing their own thing that they were depressed about.
Aw, freaking Batman! He was still so, what is the word? Conceited.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
just still, everything's about me, boys. From the very beginning, it was terrible, and now I'm in the beginning again.
In darkness or
It
alone.
doesn't matter. Yeah, like it doesn't matter what you guys are going through. It's all about me, boys. He's like Squidward.
Oh, yes. Was there any like Lego people who you weren't expecting that popped up?
Well, some obvious ones where there's a basketball lady saying something,
I didn't.
and then she had to be introduced by another basketball player Lego.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never heard of this person.
Yeah.
And then another one, it was like an aid to Batman's joke when she was like, I like guys in tights.
Oh,
And then Batman pulled an old Batman from out of nowhere and was like, just ask. And then it said like the name or whatever. Yeah. And then I was like, I didn't understand. Yeah. I didn't get that one. I
don't really like any of those jokes. And the first movie didn't have any of those jokes.
Yeah.
It didn't have any like, let's just name, like shout out people. I think all those parts could have been cut. Even
like Gandalf out of nowhere came out.
Well, that was cool, as long as they don't say. And then I saw, oh no, he did say. And then I saw Gandalf. So yeah, there was a. I like the one that I did like was the girl from Scooby Doo.
Oh, Velma.
Yes, like that was cool. They weren't like
or Velma.
They were like Velma. Oh my god, it's like
you know
whoever
her
knows,
from her Jinkies.
Yeah, like whoever knew who she was got it. And you didn't have to spend time explaining, this is the WNBA All-Star champion.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, that's kind of dumb.
I like the whole trademark joke.
Oh, the no regrets.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Because it's like how I was telling you that they trademarked the Lego, the actual Lego design. Yeah. And then their trademark ended. So now, or patent.
Yeah.
Legal shit. I like how in the credits they're like, and the credits are the best part, so you don't leave.
Yeah.
And just get to watch all these people and their hard work.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So awesome. I like how it looks like someone was twisting two like cylinders, and it was like a whole world going around.
Yeah.
And you saw different things, and then you saw on one side Emmett, and then on the other side Wild Style, and then Batman, and then the Queen. Yeah. And then just everyone, and how they used the lady's acting where she stepped on the Legos, and she's like, you know what, childbirth, they're on the same plane. And then at the credits they used a Bigfoot, and then it showed her name. Yeah. And that's the coolest credits I've ever seen.
Yeah, I really love the credits. They kind of did something similar in the first movie, but it wasn't that intricate. It was just showing them the actual real designs that they built of everything. That one actually looked like it was real, though. Like, they actually built all those things.
Really?
And they were just spinning them. I think so.
Oh, yeah, because they had those clear tubes to hold them on the track.
Yeah. And then they had just paper stuff that was with the credits. That's super awesome. That song was really funny, too. It's made by the Lonely Island. They make a lot of funny songs. They were the ones that rapped the part and Everything Is Awesome where they rapped.
Channing Tatum voiced Superman, boys.
Yeah. And then Jonah Hill was the Green Lantern. Yeah. In the first movie, they had a beef with each other. Yeah, because the Green Lantern wanted to hang out with Superman. And Superman was like, no, man, I'm in my cell right now. And then Green Lantern was like, well, you want to hang out later? Or...
Aww. Their voices are so unique.
Yeah.
Or I know them so well that as soon as they spoke one word, I was like, oh, yeah, that's him. And I turned around and told you exactly. You're like, oh, yeah, that's him.
But yeah, I would say this film felt a lot messier though.
Like, because of the editing or the way it was. Do you not like the story?
Oh, I liked the story. I just felt like it wasn't connected right. There was a lot of like back and forth. There was a lot of parts where it just felt like it jumped to the next scene and there was no like
segue.
It's not even that it needed a segue. It just didn't feel like it was there. It felt like there was many parts where they're like, oh, we just need to get to the next part. And then they just smashed it together. Does that make sense?
No.
You remember Deadpool 2?
Yes.
You remember how that movie, it was just felt like shit slapped together? You've never watched a movie that felt like that? Like kind of messy?
Yes.
What movie? Like Velvet Buzzsaw. Remember how that movie was just like, it was like one...
That's literally what I was thinking about. It's like, what is the name of that movie?
Like
Chainsaw?
It had a clear plot. And then out of nowhere you would go see all these people's deaths, but it didn't really matter to the central plot. And it was just...
Which was a whole relationship. Okay.
This film wasn't that bad, obviously, but how, just like we were saying, when it would go back from group to group, the whole beginning felt really rushed. Like it just started with the whole like end of the world, and then like 5 years later, and then this, and then that, and then this, and then this happens, and like it was too much stuff going on.
Oh yeah, that 5 years later thing seemed really quick.
Yeah, I wish they would have just did a 5 years later montage. You know how like Spider-Man did the same thing. It told everyone's backstory.
Yes.
But it told it in 5 seconds by showing stuff.
The movement of time through still images.
Yeah. I think they could have done the same thing here.
And it would have been quick, like you're saying. They did in like 5 seconds, 5-10 seconds.
Yeah. This movie didn't have any connective things like that. Even the first movie, it was like all this big stuff happening, and then I remember when Emmett meets Wild Style and they're trying to run away and they go into the house and jump out and they're crashing through everything and there's like and everything is happening, and then they go out the freeway and then it turns into a plane and then Emmett's like, where are you going? He's like, we're gonna get through this place. And he's like, but that's a wall. And then they bust through the wall and then their spaceship crashes and then it says Wild Wild West, and then you see their spaceship crash. And then they get up, and then they're on a horse going to the next town. So, like, this movie was, they crash through the wall, and then the next scene is they're in the Western bar. That's what every movement from one place to the other place felt like. Where in the first one, there was a whole horse riding scene of them just talking.
Yeah.
And, like, character development. Where this one was just get to the next part, and it was just, like, nonstop.
I know why... The transition between Emmett's story when he's talking to his future self and trying to rescue the guys, how it went from their story to the other people's story. I know why it didn't make sense, because they got out of the Lego theme and they just showed a little tiny paper spaceship clearly on a string, and they just pulled away. Like in the first one, did it do something like that where it got out of the Lego world?
Oh, there was one part where it was a little spaceship like that, and I was like,
oh.
But it was a joke.
Oh. Well, this one they did it like 3 times.
Yeah, they did. And that's what I'm saying. Instead of doing that, they could have shown a scene with them talking, like the characters interacting or whatever.
Yeah.
It just felt like too much. And then I didn't really like how the group who were kidnapped, their whole interactions together, like it felt like they were all forced to be together because they were like main characters. I wish they would have maybe left some off, or I don't know. Every time they talked, it wasn't really adding anything. Or in the first movie,
like the pirate guy.
Yeah, they were just there. Where it would have been cooler if it was just Wild Style and Batman, and then the rest of them can be there, but they didn't all have to say something.
Yeah. Well, then it would be kind of quiet, and it'll be like, well, why aren't they talking?
Well, they can talk, but not. There's a way to do it. Think about the Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
They have all these characters, and they're all speaking as themselves when they are given time, versus them all reacting.
They're trying to pitch in their...
Yeah, it was more
putting in their ideas.
Yeah, it was more of an interactive. And everything they say describes them as a character, not just for jokes and stuff. And the first movie felt like that. Like, there was a whole section where Batman was just riding in his car,
Yeah.
And then he was like, "You want to hear some good music?" And then he plays his like, "So Sad." You remember?
Yes.
Like, see, that's like a character moment. I wish they would have had more. Even with the new space girl person, she could have played music. You know, I don't know. I just felt like the first movie had a better vibe.
You think that's why Wildstar liked Batman so much, because he was also a musician?
Oh yeah.
And he did like hard music, which is the opposite of
what
everything is a fun.
Yeah.
Who do you think were her team side performers?
Her bandmates?
Yeah, bandmates. Because it seemed like she had 3 other people there.
Yeah, it was like a K-pop girl band.
Yes. I could see them dancing.
That's what I'm saying. It would have been so funny to see a music video with Wild Song.
Kind of makes me feel like she wasn't from the original group. Like,
I think she was. Because she was in the middle of the cover of the album.
oh, I like the part where he was like, everything's not awesome. And then they're talking about, now I understand Coldplay.
Oh, Radiohead.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, you should try listening to... And I forgot what else he said.
Yeah, I forgot that band too. I was like, whoa, they made a Radiohead reference? I've never heard anyone talk about Radiohead.
Me neither.
I was like, whoa. That'd be like them saying, like, now I understand Trent Reznor. I would have been like, what? I would have stood up in my seat.
Slow clap.
Yeah. But Radiohead is like my second favorite band, so it's pretty fucking close. That's so cool.
So, at one point in your life, everything was not awesome, Anthony?
Yeah.
Everything was depression.
Everything's depressing.
Were there any shots that were, to you, were like, whoa, that's a cool
shots?
shot? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
When the queen was singing and she was turning into a staircase and she was bringing everyone up with her, and at the end, it all trickled down. But it was kind of like a circle, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The camera was like
rotating
like around them.
Oh.
And then it stopped, and that's when all of the pieces broke down, and then you saw them again.
Oh, and then her face was in the middle again.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah, all the musical stuff was so fun. I can imagine how much fun they had directing it.
Yes.
But they were all like very creatively composed, like a lot of movement, like it felt like an old Disney movie, like just things happening in the background, like, so all those were really awesome, but I can't think of like any shots that really blew my mind or anything. I think it's because it's such a chaotic motion of animation, you can't really see frames because the camera is always fluid. And you don't really notice cuts as much as in real life cinema. Yeah. So I can't think of any off the top of my head. I feel like there probably would be some. But I also think it's because they smoothed out the animation so much that I didn't have enough time to see it be as choppy as it used to be. Like, Into the Spider-Verse, it was super choppy. And I feel like the first movie had that same style. And this one felt way smoother.
For sure it had longer shots.
Yeah, it felt... like the direction felt more like an animated movie, where the first movie felt like a real life movie, and it was an animated world, and that's what I really like about those guys. Well, the writers, how they directed the first movie, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the same thing. They directed it in the mindset that this is a real life, so all the shots were as if they had a tripod and a camera set up, and each shot looked real, even though it was an animated world. I felt like
you couldn't go from super low car crash to, for some reason, the camera's now on a crane, and then you're doing a swerve, and then super close. Yeah, exactly. I get it.
Where this movie felt like it had no restraints at all.
No limits.
Yeah, which I mean can be good, but I feel like in this case it just made it feel too much. It felt more like the Lego Batman movie than the first Lego movie. And those two movies are like so opposite. And this movie, luckily, it wasn't as bad or it wasn't as crazy as the Lego Batman movie. So it was more, it was like, here's a Lego movie, first place, the Lego movie 2, and then the Lego Batman. So it was like right in between those of chaos. Because you remember we watched the Lego Batman movie, and I was just like, oh man, what did they do?
Too far.
Yeah, well, like every single shot was a joke. Every single thing that was said was a joke, and they weren't even that smart most of the time.
Yeah.
And I felt like they dumbed it down to a super young kid audience, but I feel like the first movie was the perfect
ratio.
Level of comedy. So you have kids growing into it and kids growing out of it, and adults. So you're capturing everyone instead of making it more and more child friendly. It ends up feeling just like a Cartoon Network cartoon.
Yeah.
Like the whole banana character tripping on himself. I didn't really get that joke at all.
I thought it was funny because of the way he was tripping on himself. His peel wasn't even in front of him. It was behind him. And he still managed to step on it and trip. What? That was so ridiculous to me that I was like, okay. It's actually kind of funny to me now. Just watching him kind of like literally fall on himself.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't like that joke. And they did it like 4 times.
Well, like the first time I liked it. After that, it wasn't that funny. He kept falling off stairs. He's like, "This is my worst nightmare." You know the one that I really liked? When she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a perfect cake," and then she licked the icing, and then she went to the chocolate fountain, and she's like, "Wow, this is a most amazing chocolate fountain," and then there's a chocolate bar by it, and he's like, "Life is so fragile."
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Just staring at the fountain with a little chunk missing from his head. That's the one I really liked.
I like those jokes. Those were awesome. I also like the ice cream guy.
Oh,
and he was like, "I am not an object to fill the void that is your sadness."
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yes. That was also one.
I like how he was like super British and like composed.
I love how he always cut in between them, like
they would be complimenting each other, and then they would just start complimenting.
Oh, like jinx. This is the last jinx you're gonna say, and we're gonna end this, and then it'll just go on, and then they'll start again with something else. But that's the one that I like the best, when they were saying jinxies.
Yeah.
As soon as they said that, I was like, oh no, please stop. And then that's when the
ice cream cone,
the very respected ice cream man came in. There's actually an ice cream cone Lego. Yeah.
All those Legos I assume are real Legos. Now, when I went to a Lego store, I saw the banana peel and the dolphin with the clock on it. And I didn't know they were from... Well, and it said Lego movie on it, but I didn't understand it.
Oh, when did this movie come out?
This weekend. They had came out with the toys like a month ago, though.
Whoa.
Yeah. You gotta do the advertisement.
Do you think these people were able to sell a lot of those toys?
Oh, yes. I imagine.
Do kids even play with Legos nowadays?
I don't know. I guess so. I've never played with Legos.
No?
I've never had Legos.
Me neither.
But I assume there is a lot of people who play with Legos. A lot of people like building stuff.
What would you build if you had all the Legos in the world?
Oh, probably nothing.
What?
I don't like building stuff. It's like Minecraft. I hated playing Minecraft. Hate it. I don't enjoy building stuff. I think you would have a blast building stuff.
Yeah, I would. I would build my dream house and make a party in it.
Oh, yeah.
All by myself. No furniture. Like those pictures.
Oh, yeah.
What were you telling me that there was like a meme or something on Twitter?
Oh, like my boyfriend's apartment or whatever.
Yeah. And then people would put in their Minecraft apartments, and there would be no furniture, just like a little seat and their character sitting on the seat.
Yeah. Well, it was like a chair, no bed, and then a TV.
Oh. Yep. That
was like, this is how well, in the meme, it's like, take a picture of your boyfriend's apartment, and then it's like, this is seriously how my boyfriend be living like. And it's just like pizza boxes, a chair, and then an Xbox and TV.
Damn. Are there Xboxes and Lego movie in the Legos? Probably not. Just like a console.
Maybe. I'm sure you could build one though. You could build anything.
Have you ever had, I don't know, a Lego moment?
What is a Lego moment?
You know, when you're just feeling like everything is awesome and everyone's trying to crush your dreams.
Yeah, like every day. Yeah, cut. Did you have any other thoughts about the movie? I feel like I got really tired. You don't feel tired?
Did I kill your vibe?
No. I think I just feel tired because all that food is hitting my stomach right now.
But we ate like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Are you getting old?
I think I was too excited for this movie.
Oh.
And then I was a little disappointed.
What?
A little bit.
I love the exaggeration of it.
Of the...
How Emmett just... He's the best. He's the first quote-unquote Gene character that I like. You know, the dummy. But he's perfectly in the middle of what I don't like. To where he can redeem himself and with some qualities like selflessness.
Oh yeah, Gene is selfish and lazy. Where Emmett...
No, you keep going.
Oh, where Emmett is selfless, just really dumb.
He's so naive.
And when he notices he screws something up, he wants to fix it.
And he actually does fix it most of the time.
Where Gene does not.
Yeah. This is the first I like Emmett. I feel like I'm Emmett. Oh no, I'm the princess that, or the queen that has terrible communication issues.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks you're a jerk. It's like, no man.
That song was so obviously evil. Like, every time she turned around, she'd put on her evil face with horns.
Oh yes. And for some reason they all got duped into it. Like, oh yeah. Spaceship. Freaking guy. What's his name? What is his name?
Spaceship guy.
That's literally.
Oh no, his name is like Dan or something. Some shit like
that. Is he
that.
from NASA?
I don't know. I think he has a little net. It's really funny because his spaceship helmet is broken.
So it doesn't even work?
Oh, right here. So it has his face. Right here, it's cracked.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that.
And it looks like that.
Uneven. You think he was one of the first Legos pieces to be made?
Maybe.
Because his suit looked really old.
Oh, yes.
That's what... Do you think they do like... you know how they do sets? Lego sets? Maybe he was part of the first Lego set.
Oh, yeah.
It happened during the whole moon landing.
That would be so awesome. I don't know the history of Lego, but I know when they were making the first Lego movie, they researched a lot. And a lot of the Lego creations were based off Lego things that people made.
That they were submitted to the movie?
Yeah.
I like the Statue of Liberty one. Oh,
yeah, that looked really cool.
The sewer babies.
Oh, yeah. They grew up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the kitties, they all had sword tails.
Oh, shit. Oh, I love that evolution of the cat. How he went from a regular
That's
small
the
kitty.
part that you laughed at, when it was like running, and then it was like... and then you like cracked up laughing because it was like...
It reminded me of Princess.
Really?
For some reason, you just see him laying there and he's all cute. And then I don't know, for some reason he smells food and he's like, I'm ready. And then you just see him go.
Just sprinting.
Because he's so fluffy, his fur moves like a wave. I don't know.
You lost it at that point.
I lost control.
It was so cool how it got so big, though. It looked like a freaking lion. It was like...
You see its claws?
Yeah.
They look like raptor. Oh, what'd you think about the raptors?
Oh, I think it was a joke of, like, the Jurassic World movie.
Oh, for sure.
Because the guy who voices Emmett and who did the voice for Rick is the actor from the Jurassic World movies.
Oh. Do you think it's... I don't know.
What?
I don't really like hearing the same voices over and over again. I don't know. Like the Deadpool guy, we were watching the commercial.
Oh, yeah, and he's Pikachu. Yeah, but I think that guy has a perfect voice for Emmett because he's like, sounds really nice. And then it was funny because they were making fun of him when all the throwbacks to Rick were like movies that he was in, like I'm a dinosaur raptor trainer, and then all this and all that. And then he was like, "Who knew I could look so chiseled when I lost all my baby fat?"
Aww.
And he used to be fat.
Really?
Yeah, before he did Guardians of the Galaxy, he used to be really fat.
Aww.
Well, not really fat, but he used to be a comedian person.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did that movie. Now everyone's like, "Whoa, he's a model now," or whatever, you know.
He's a
action star.
Yeah. He's the most handsome person in the world. What is those things? You know how they Brad Pitt?
Oh, the Man of the Year.
Man of the Year. They on the cover they're shirtless or whatever.
Oh, it's sexiest man.
There you go. The sexiest man of life. My vote goes to my chicken nugget.
Yo, chicken nugget.
Yep. The one I'm eating right now. I'm just kidding.
What the hell?
Can I go and get off topic?
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the How to Train Your Dragon movie.
Oh yeah.
Part 3. So excited. I've never been more excited for this movie than when they came out with Finding Dory. Actually, no. Ice Age 3. Because all the Ice Age movies I really like, even though there's a lot of them, I really like the way this story goes on. Not like, the kind of like The Incredibles disappointed me a little bit. But yeah, The Incredibles too. But I know that the people who have been working on the How to Train Your Dragon series are really, I don't know, they just really get it.
Yeah.
And it's always some emotional plot twist that happens in the middle, kind of like that formula that DreamWorks, Pixar uses.
Yeah.
They use that formula too, and it's so amazing. I really like those movies.
Yeah, I've seen the first one and I remember really liking it. And everyone that I've heard has seen the second one says they really love it.
You haven't seen the second one? Honey, you're gonna cry.
That's what everyone tells me.
I cried. You're gonna definitely cry. Full man tears coming down.
Is it like a twist that makes you cry? Or is it just sad?
It's just part of the story.
Well, we'll need to watch it so I can be ready for How to Train Your Dragon 3. We're gonna do a marathon. How to Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon 2, How to Train Your Dragon 3, the Lego movie one.
The Lego movie one. The Batman movie.
Oh.
Lego Batman movie.
No, I don't like the Lego Batman movie. No. It was pretty, but I didn't like it. Well, do you have anything else to add to the Lego movie 2? We talked about...
I wish I could have a chance to voice act. I know my voice isn't that beautiful, but one of these days I would get luscious, and I think I would like to cast in a voice acting role.
Yeah, I feel like voice acting would be really fun.
You think it would be hard?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because you don't know how it's working. Most voice actors, they do their voice independently and they don't even know how the other person is reacting. So it's all up to the voice acting director to make sure that this person's reacting fits.
What?
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Some people have busy schedules, so they'll just send them the lines they have to say and how they want them to say them, and then they'll record them, and then some other actor will do theirs, and then they'll match them together. It's very...
So it's not like they go into a studio?
Well, they do.
Oh, okay.
But individually.
Yeah.
It's very rare that a movie has a whole voice cast and they're all in the studio together. Very rare.
So how do you do singing parts then?
Because
they would all separately have to get in same tone, no?
Yeah, that's why you have to you as the director need to know the levels that they're all at. Yeah, it's very interesting, and it seems like a very difficult thing, a very easy thing to get wrong.
How would you match up the mouth movements?
Oh, you just do that after you have the recording. So you do the whole animation, and then you just add in the mouth, and get that down perfect.
I thought animation first, recording after.
Yeah, they would do most of the movie already. and then just add in the audio and then tweak it.
Oh, but they can still see what's going on as they're saying it.
The actors? No, normally all they have is the script.
No shit.
Yeah, they kind of imagine.
Cancel that. I think I would be too nervous to try to do that.
I think it's really fun because you're just imagining.
Okay, never mind. I would want to try it.
Especially in a kids movie, they're like, "There's a giant robot! Oh my god!" You know? Now there's heart bombs.
Whoa! That was so cute. It's like, it's so cold.
Oh, the little heart that was stuck.
Oh, it was a star, no?
Oh yeah, and it was like, and then it zoomed into its eyes, and it was all like
shiny.
And then it zoomed into Emmett's eyes.
Aww. Emmett's eyes are the best. They're just, no one has similar eyebrows in him. He has almost unexistent eyebrow lines of an eyebrow, and everyone else are like thick, bold, sharp.
Yeah.
And his are like. What would you give this movie?
I don't know. What would you give it? I need to look at my listers.
I don't really like this movie.
You didn't like it?
No. It wasn't my type of humor. And it wasn't really my type of story, I guess, that I really like. And the innovation of the whole Lego theme was already made from the first movie. And they got away from the actual innovative look, you know? Like, it wasn't as choppy. It was super smooth. And the parts that I did like were the singing parts and how they made the music and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's just too many characters trying to be pushed in and given a voice at random times.
Yeah.
Like how we were saying the whole Gandalf thing and the whole Harley Quinn and then the Green Lantern and then Superman and Aquaman and Batman and everyone.
Oh yeah, you're not giving scores anymore, right? So what would your one word be for the movie? Someone says, "Hey, how was the movie?" And you had to say one word. You know, like good, great, it was alright, it was amazing, it was a masterpiece. It was average, decent, not that great. I didn't like it.
I would just say it's a good movie.
Why?
Because it's not terrible to where I will give it a bad review, but it's like a 5 out of 10.
So it's alright.
No, it's a good movie.
How is good a 5?
How is good not a 5?
So good is average.
For me, the word alright means 4 out of 5. Good is
4 out of 10.
5. I mean, yes, 4 out of 10. Good is 5 out of 10. You know what I'm saying?
What's 6 out of 10?
Better than good. I'm not sure what the word is. No, it's the goodest.
No, goodest is 7 out of 10, okay?
Damn it, I don't know.
Your system is broken. So is mine. I think I would agree with you. I was a little disappointed.
Whoa, I wasn't disappointed, sir.
I was disappointed.
Okay.
The first Lego movie to me is a 10 out of 10. Fucking love that movie.
Whoa.
Oh shit, we weren't supposed to cuss in this. But
he loves this.
There was still a lot of the good old humor from the first movie, but it didn't have the same level of impact. I think most of it is that maybe they wrote too big of a story, and like you were saying, there's too many characters, and then all the interconnectedness was really messy, and then it felt like they were trying to do too many jokes, where the first movie, it didn't feel like it was trying to be that funny. It was just...
Do you feel like you enjoyed it less because you have a reference of the first movie? For example, the first movie didn't exist, and this was the first movie. You think you would have liked it more or less?
I think I would have liked it the same. I mean, I'm disappointed, but I'm not like letting that affect what this one was. Like the first one fit exactly the style of movies that I like. For this one, doesn't anymore.
Mm.
It feels there's a lot of good things, but at the same time there was a lot of stuff I didn't like.
They sold out. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. And then I wish it's weird because it's written by the same people, and I feel a lot of their influence.
You don't think it was edited? Some things were added or taken
Yeah,
away?
well, it was a different director.
Oh, okay.
But I was so hopeful because the Spider-Verse movie was written by these guys too.
Oh.
And that movie felt like the first Lego movie. Like, it's not trying to be funny. Like, it has a story to tell.
Yeah.
And everything else is extra.
Yeah.
And every joke reflects character.
Adds or enforces something.
Yeah. Where this one just felt like it's following the normal style of referencing jokes or, like, just like the Lego Batman movie. I feel like that one was really awful because of that. And this movie felt like a halfway point to that. But the overall story that they were trying to tell, I see, like, if I were to read it, I would have been like, whoa, this is amazing. You know, like you're talking about a brother and a sister and them learning how to communicate and play with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's a part we didn't even talk about. The little girl is the girl from the Florida Project.
Oh, yeah. She's so old now.
Yeah.
Well, not so old, but she's so grown up now.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my god. She must have been doing all the baby voices.
You think so?
I think so. Like all the stars.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god, if she starts crying because when they were sitting and he gives her the star, I was like, ooh, I would have told her to like kind of cry and then they can hug. But luckily she didn't cry because I would have cried if I saw her cry again.
Aww.
I would have been like, no. But that's so awesome that she was in the movie.
Yeah. Was a boy from a movie you've seen?
No, he was in the first one.
Oh.
I think he's...
Oh, yeah, he did look... It was the same person.
Yeah.
Wasn't this the mom from Bridesmaids or something like that?
Yeah,
and she pooped in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm. That lady is actually married to the guy who directed There Will Be Blood. She's married to a director.
Nuh-uh.
It's so interesting because she's such a funny person. And all his movies seem so freaking serious, and it's strange knowing like
they're together.
Yeah, like a dead serious dude and then the most lighthearted actress you can find. Like, she's always funny. Yeah. And then she just has like this happy face to her. I don't know.
I agree with that. What is that other guy's name with the curly hair that was the dad? Oh, Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell.
It was kind of weird how he didn't show up. I guess they couldn't have him on set or some shit.
But it was funny. I like how she included it into kind of the whole situation. Was like, thanks to your dad for that very involved comment or something like that.
For his very involved commentary.
Yeah. It sounds like something that would happen in real life, though. The kids are having such a big moment by themselves, like, oh my god, my toys, and then mom's yelling at us, and I can't believe she's telling us to put them away. And then the mom's like, I'm in pain. I stepped on 2 Legos. Let me just call for some backup. And then her backup doesn't even decide to turn his head. He's just yelling to whatever he's already doing and worrying about his own thing. And then the mom's like, yep, go do it, kids.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the girl from the Florida Project. So it was so awesome seeing her in the movie. She's gonna have a wonderful career. I can't wait to see what she makes. And then...
What if at the end of her life she doesn't even like filmmaking? Like, she just really wants to be like a nurse or something?
Probably not. She already made her first movie. She made a short film.
About what?
I don't know.
Chips?
I saw it on Tweeters. Anyways, so I would say I really love the parts that I don't like. I think I already talked about that. It doesn't really feel like it was put together very well, and it felt really messy, and it felt like it was trying to do too much. It felt very thin at some points, and then other points it felt really deep.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it could have been directed a little better. Like maybe the shots, if they were more controlled. I felt like it was like almost like a video game kind of thing, you know. But the stuff I really liked was Emmett. I liked all the other characters; they were still awesome as always. I loved the general idea of the story, the theme. I loved all the musical parts. That was so awesome. I love the songs and the lyrics that they wrote for those songs. I like how the songs sounded. I liked all the character designs, like an ice cream cone and all that. I didn't like the banana guy. I liked the Sistar universe.
Oh yeah.
I like how all that stuff looked.
I liked how it's sister instead of sister.
Yeah, it was like the most obvious puns. Like what was the Mamageddon?
Oh yeah.
And then she was like, "Mom's gonna get in." It's like dun dun dun.
Whoa.
I loved all that stuff because it's a reference to the first movie. Because in the first movie, he did the same thing. The evil Lord Business. He would have all these words for what was gonna happen.
Oh yes. It's like, oh, you have the piece.
The magical piece. And it was like the crazy glue.
Oh yeah.
I forgot what they called it.
Remufflicator? I don't know.
But anyways, so I liked all that stuff. I think I would give this movie an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Yeah.
But you made it sound like you really didn't even like this movie.
I mean, I'm trying to think what movie it's like comparable to in quality. And I think I like this movie as much as I liked Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Teen Titans.
And I gave that movie around an 8.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just so fun.
Yeah. This movie was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. That's for the...
What?
That's for the review, not the spoilers. Who would you recommend it to?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, thanks for listening to our spoilers of the Lego Movie 2.
Yes.
I'm a little tired. I don't know why, so sorry about that. Email us at cineverm@yahoo.com if you think our vibe is bumming you out.
Eat some ice cream.
Yeah, eat some ice cream if you're depressed.
Can we have some ice cream?
Yeah, let's go get some ice cream.
Get you on the flip-flop.